So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me and being here for this meditation. It's so good to do it with more people, to make a change in the world. So today is an interesting day, and I'm not an astronomer or an astrologist. I always get those two confused, but it's interesting because from today there's a movement of all 7 planets forming, and so they're coming into alignment and they'll form an arc, and they're going to stay like that until the 28th, and it's an opportunity for personal growth and positive change. And often when the planets start to change, it affects our energy, and it can appear to be like this, a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotional changes. So I thought we would start with quite a bit of time of clearing our own stuff and then forming a little orb around ourselves, so we know that we've processed our stuff, and then we're just going to clear whatever arises. So what's really fascinating, so I worked with this in class today actually, and it blew my mind a little bit. So it's talking about the way in which all the planets obviously orbit the sun, but they orbit it at different speeds. So for instance, Mercury orbits the sun, so that the Mercury's year is 88 days, which is why I think it's either 3 or 4, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 in a year we'll get Mercury retrogrades. The Earth is obviously 365 days. Neptune, jumping to the most extreme, which will come into alignment the first time in all of our lifetime, is 60,190 days, or that's how long it takes for it to orbit. So it turns out that that's 164 Earth years, if we look at it as an equivalent. So, we've all kind of manifested on Earth at this time because it is a time of huge change, not just planetary, but spiritually. So let's dive in. So let your eyes close. Take a nice deep breath in. And have a sigh out. And again, deep breath in. And a sigh out. And once more. So just going to start with just releasing a little bit of tension from the upper body. So let's start with the neck. So drop the chin down and start to circle the head. Notice whether as you circle the jaw feels a little bit tight, and loosen the jaw. So you allow the energy to release through the jawline. Lovely, let's change directions. And release. Let's just rotate left to right, right to left. Use the breath, keep the jaw relaxed. Get back to center now. Let's rotate the whole of the spinal column, so to the right, and hold. Start to really lengthen into the exhalation, so it helps that release of the musculature and the nervous system. Let's change directions. Notice any differences on the sides. Breathe into any resistance. Go back to centre. So a little bit of cat-cow with the spine. Inhale to travel forwards. Exhale to go back. Lovely, and release. So we're just going to actually do a little bit of work on the solar plexus. So if you imagine our chakra system, 7 key chakras, obviously there are more, but let's just focus on 7 key ones, and imagine that they are the planets themselves, and that they are forming an alignment as well. So we're going to work with our personal power center, so the solar plexus area, sort of Manipur region. And we're going to do some Sufi grinding. So we're going to go right to left first. So just moving, using the inhale as the body travels forwards, and the exhale as it goes back and round. Good, now we're going to start to let the breath come out through the mouth, so it's much more of a clearing breath. So a sense of using the breath and the movement to start to shift the denser energy patterns within yourself, rooted in the subconscious, stored in the cells of the body. One more this way. Good, now let's squeeze the other way. So try and isolate the movement so it's the center of the body that's moving, rather than a circle like this, which actually activates the lower chakra. So we're after that middle chakra. Good, now focus on that chakra. We're going to take a deep breath in and hold the breath at the top just for as long as it's comfortable for you, so be careful if you're contraindicated. Just scan the body for any density or sense of energy wanting to release, and then with your attention on that energy, let it pour out. And again, breath in and hold, scanning through the body. And once more. Lovely. Now let's bring our attention to the heart space, which can get cloaked and shut down. We're going to work with the spiraling movement from Kundalini to do this sequence here. So inhale left, exhale right. Start off slowly and just build up the speed to suit you. So the inhale and exhale become quite rapid. And if that makes you feel dizzy, then just slow it down. Make sure that it's right for your body. So as you move from side to side, really observe how it feels, not just in the physical body, but around the heart space. You know, is there any areas that feel a little bit stagnant? Good, come back to center, take a deep breath and draw a circle. Let the hands relax. Again, really feeling into the heart space with your awareness. Just noticing the physical body. And I want you to start to bring your attention to the third eye. So you're looking into that dark space in front of the eyes with a slight lift upwards. So it's not Shambhavi Mudra, it's just a slight awareness of about 30 degrees. So just kind of looking up a little bit. And I want you to become the observer, the witness, rather than the experiencer. And I want you to observe your own body and noticing what's there today for you. And do it without attachment to it. So it may be that the body, so detached from my body, and the body feels maybe a little bit sad, maybe there's something else going on. So just noticing what's there for you today. And as you observe, we're just going to bring our awareness towards the alpha state. So we're going to do the even breath. So breathe in for a count of 4. And breathe out for 4. So this is Sukha Pranayama. And as you work with the breath, be the observer of the breath as it moves in and out of the body vehicle. Sometimes I like to call it the earth suit, as if we are really astronauts here on Earth. Just keep observing from the third eye, noticing anything that arises and just simply being the observer. Lovely, let's increase that count to 5. increase the count to 6. Remember, we're slowing it down. Focus at the tip of the nose. So we all lead very busy lives, and often our breathing will show that. So even in our breathing, we're rushing it. So consciously notice how the breath feels within you. Slow it down. And as you slow the breath down, the dialogue, the self-dialogue slows down. Briefly observe the root of the tongue. Notice whether it's in tension. If it is, it means that there's a slight vibration happening there, and you're actually talking to yourself, which keeps the mind very busy. So consciously relax the tongue. Good, increase the count to 7, slowing it down even more. Concentrate at the tip of the nose. So as the breath slows down, the volume, the sound of the breath becomes quieter. And you get this sense of settling in towards a stillness within you. Lovely. Now finally, let's breathe in and out for 8. So really nice and slow now. Feel a sense of almost surrendering to the exhalation. Good, now release the count. So we're going to move into the practice of Tonglen, and we're just going to work with the first stage when we work on ourselves slightly differently. We're going to use some somatic processing. So let's just start by being aware of that light at the heart space as you breathe in and out. We're breathing in and out of the window of the heart. As you inhale, there's an expansion, and energy is drawing inwards. And as you exhale, in this practice, there's a sense of giving outwards towards others and connecting to others. Good, now as you just continue with this breath at the heart space, but also the observing witness at the third eye, so there's quite a lot of mental focus required. I want you to bring to mind a recent thing that has perhaps triggered you and you've had a reactive response. If there's nothing recent, then maybe go back into a recent past or a further back in the past. There's maybe quite a visceral experience. And I want you to almost replay it like a little movie in the mind, but you're the observer, remember? And I want you to observe the energy of that experience in your body and how it manifests itself and where you feel it. Good. Now, before we process that energy, we're going to create a force field around us. So as you inhale, I want you to imagine you're inhaling through the top of the head a golden stream of energy, and it comes down through the chakras, the planets, into the solar plexus. And as you exhale, you push out the energy of the solar plexus right out into the field of the Dwadishanta, so this energy ball that is around us. And it's 12 fingers width around us, so it's quite high up towards the higher self, and that same distance all the way around in all directions. So the inhale comes down from the higher self, and this is the active energy, sometimes labeled masculine, into the solar plexus, which is huge, almost a foot wide. Push it out. So you're forming a shield, essentially, an energetic shield. Lovely. Now the next part of the process is to again reconnect to that energy that you found from that experience that was quite visceral, and it was a trigger. So remember, if we are triggered by something, we can only be triggered by something because that something already exists within us, and it's bringing to light something that hasn't been processed in our own body. And as Tracy Holloway says, triggers are treasures. So they're signals for us to observe ourselves. So observe that energy within you. And this time as you inhale, I want you to imagine you're inhaling from Mother Earth, a green-blue light, and it's coming up through the body, filling the entire body. And as it moves to those areas that you've found within you that are triggering, that energy colour changes to a red-black. And on the exhale, you push the red-black down through the body, back into the earth. Inhaling blue-green light, let it fill the body. Search out those areas that are calling to you to be healed, to be processed. Let the colour change to a red-black and send it into the earth, to the Mother Earth, to be processed and recycled. That's all we're doing. So remember that everything that exists, absolutely everything that exists, is a form of vibration. And we're changing the vibration of our own body. So we're bringing in that higher frequency of blue-green light. And we're releasing what no longer serves us. So we're breaking the cycles of reaction by seeing it in our body, feeling it, clearing it out as we exhale. And just keep going for a few more breaths. And now just notice how the body feels. Notice there may be a sense of space where there wasn't before, or a sense of lightness where there was heaviness or congestion. Just noticing the very subtle changes in energy. And that sense of being cleared. So bring your attention back now to the heart space and see that beautiful diamond, the individual self at the heart space. This individual self that has come here at this time in the history of planet Earth to experience the rapid changes that are going on. And I want you to notice how the following words, which are from the Vijnana Tantra, verse 131, or Yukti verse 108, if you're reading the Radiant Sutras. Notice how the words vibrate in the body whilst you're focusing on this being at the heart space. The next time the thought arises, I want this, or I think that, grab hold of this I. Grab hold of this I and perceive it by itself. And wonder, who is this I? Who is this I? I am animal. I am human. I am a loving heart. I am a questing mind. I am a particle of infinity. I am a particle of infinity. I am a witness to creation. I am a witness to creation. I am consciousness itself. I am consciousness itself. And in meditation, embrace all of these dimensions. Reach into the source, the luminous world of dancing energies in ever-changing relatedness. Feel the thatness, the I, the immortal self, the ever-present consciousness at the heart space, and know it to be indestructible. And this is the part of us that we work with in Tonglen. So let's start to process. So we've worked with our own clearings slightly differently tonight. So I want you to work now with a loved one, somebody who you find it really easy to be with. So this could be a friend, a loved one that you're in a close relationship with. It could be a loved one in animal form. It could be a loved one that's passed, because they're still present. Everything is always present, it just changes its vibration. So just bring to mind, and then drop into the heart space and notice whether the heart agrees that this is what the person or the best friend animal that you want to work with tonight. And bring them to mind so you have a clear image of them. See yourself sitting with them, present, and be aware of their suffering in all its forms. So the physical showing of the suffering, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. Be aware of it. And when you're ready, visualize that suffering just sort of pouring out of this person or creature that you're working with. And when you're ready, so you can give that suffering a colour, like a dull, smoky grey light. Breathe in that suffering. So remember, all we're doing is transmuting it. We're not allowing that to stay with us. We're just processing it at the heart space. So breathe it into the light at the heart space. Feel how that energy is really like a fuel, and it just expands the heart, because the heart space is just love, unconditional. And it transmutes that energy into love as you exhale, into the light of love, compassion, kindness. Breathe it out. And keep going. And have a sense as you start to process this energy on behalf of this person or being, of lightening their load. And we're just processing it. We're not taking it on board ourselves. We're just acting as a processing station almost. And we're filtering, we're clearing. Have a sense of this person or being, the animal, looking more at ease. And if you find that in this process you suddenly start to get really hot or really cold, this is energy shifting. So I suddenly got really hot. And this is a sign that energy is shifting, and it's different for all of us. Good, let's give this 3 more really focused breaths. Lovely, now we're going to release and let go of that process with that individual. And now we're going to move to somebody that we find it quite difficult to be with. And again, this can be a loved one. And often the people that we're in a close relationship with are the most challenging, because we all act as mirrors to each other. And when you're in a close relationship, that mirror can be rather shiny sometimes and make us more reactive. So whoever comes to mind, it can also be a work colleague, and just notice how that energy sits in you. So remember, triggers are treasures. And as we process through the heart space, it gives us an opportunity to expand our own heart. So this is what this process does, and it leads to a deeper awareness of the reality of our life. So bring this person to mind and see them, and be aware of what it is that you find challenging about this person. And that's not to say that if this behaviour is, maybe it's reckless, maybe it's just rude or aggressive, it's not to say that this person doesn't really need to look at that behaviour. They probably do, but it's not for us to change them. We can only change the way we react towards them, which in doing that, it changes the environment and helps other people to change. So notice how you react to this person, and we're going to change the energy. So see this behaviour as a form of suffering. So it manifests maybe in physical behaviour, verbal behaviour, whatever it is, be aware of it. And let it start to stream out, just seeing it as a form, an expression of suffering. And when you're ready, breathe it towards the heart space. Let that energy act as a fuel to expand your knowing of the truth at the heart space. And as you exhale, breathe out the light. And realize that we're all connected. And we all have that light at the heart space that is part of the greater whole, which is consciousness. And we're all here to experience the earth plane. And we all express that experience differently. So just seeing that, processing without attachment, just allowing that energy to be cleared. And you can observe this from the witness center at the third eye, even though we're processing through the heart. Clearing, releasing, letting go, and letting go of blame, letting go of judgment in that process. And being aware of how when you're working for others, you're actually also working for yourself, because we clear the pattern of blame, we clear the cycle of judgment. Because when we judge others, we judge ourselves, because others are ourself. Everyone is part of the divine. Let's give this 3 more breaths. Remember, we're not taking on board. We are simply clearing through the heart space, which is indestructible and pure, so it can't be sullied by any of this energy. We're just processing it. Lovely, now let go of that. Let go of it completely. Almost a sense of detachment from the person you are working for. And now we're going to work with the familiar stranger. So this can be anybody that you see in the street that you're familiar with because you see them regularly, you know their face. And maybe it's somebody that you know the first name, but you don't really know anything about them. Maybe if you're a dog walker, it's somebody who you know the name of the dog, but you don't know the name of the owner, but that's okay, you know their face. Maybe it's somebody you know who serves you regularly at the shop, the local shop. Somebody who passes you on the street. Somebody who's on the same commute as you. just notice it. And I want you to notice their body language. Notice the language of their speech, if they do have words that you hear. And also really notice the face, particularly their eyes. So the eyes really show suffering. Eyes also really show when people are disconnected from their true self, and that disconnection is what creates the suffering when we believe that we are separate from each other and everything else. So notice that, and when you're ready, start to process it. So see the energy of suffering pouring out, visualize it as a smoky energy, breathe it in, process it through the heart space. Be aware of the heart space being really expansive now beyond the physical body. Sending out that genuine wish for this familiar stranger to be well, to be free from suffering. And notice when you have that genuine wish, the heart, your own heart space, becomes lighter and it releases its own suffering in the process. When you genuinely wish for others to be well, we also clear the energy of blame, the energy of fear, the energy of judgment. Just let it clear. Good, let's give this 3 more breaths. Really focus your attention on that visual image within you. Clearing, processing, alchemizing. Lovely, and release. So now let's start to work as a community, working with each other. So there is 16 of us here tonight. So imagine us all sitting in a circle. And I want you to bring the hands out and slightly up. So we feel this connection to each other, as if our energy bodies are touching. So the Dwadi Center is expanded so much that we can feel each other at a distance. And then start to imagine that we're pulling outwards, but we're still connected. So we're creating this huge circle. And in the center of this circle is this huge orb of white light, which is, it's like a healing vortex. And just pour into that vortex your own suffering. So we pour all our suffering into that vortex and we're just letting it be processed. And the wish for us all to be well, to be able to stand in our own sovereignty, to be able to know the truth, to know ourselves, to know what we are, as well as who we are, and to also know how we serve in community. So we're all here for a unique purpose, and that unique purpose might be to be a community leader, it might be to be a very specific carer for an individual, it might be to be a world leader. It doesn't matter how big or how small that is. It is equal. We are all equal in the work that we do. So feel that connection and feel that sense of connection to each other. So some of you might, if you're very sensitive to energy, you might be feeling it at the hands now. You may even be feeling it at the crown of the head and the third eye, heart space, just noticing. Just keep the breath flowing as we pour the light into that pool of energy between us. Let's do 3 more breaths. Good, now let's start to expand outwards and start to include your neighbours. Start to include an awareness of the community in which you live. Maybe it's a village, town, city. Expand it out. And then start to be aware of a sense of us expanding out. So we're now expanding out to encompass the entire globe. So this big sort of vortexy globe of energy that we're holding is now encompassing the whole of the world. And we're just all holding this light. And that planet Earth is surrounded and filled with this light. And then include all beings. May all beings be well. May all beings be free from suffering. May this practice benefit all beings, all humans, all animals, all insects, all beings, beings without body. May it encompass Gaia, the mother planet that supports us, and her waters and the creatures in the waters of the planet, encompassing everything and allowing a sense of breathing in the global suffering, bring it into the light so it's transformed into this beautiful, iridescent, high vibrational light. So this is the time that we're moving in now. And by bathing the heavier, denser energies of suffering in light, we shift the vibrational frequency. So feel the shift. And as we hold this space for humanity and all beings, just keep focus at the heart space. And again, this is another verse from the Vijnana Tantra. We all tremble, we all know fear. Turn to the one life pervading the universe, whose name dispels fear. Find that name resonating in your heart. Find that name resonating in your heart. Luminosity permeates the universe, and the secret sound that hums everything into existence resounds everywhere. Listening to the inner sound continuously. Become lovers with the secret one. Feel yourself bathed in this iridescent light that is so bright. It's almost as if your own body has dissolved, and you can feel that connection to everything that permeates the universe. the thatness, consciousness that permeates everything. And just let that light lift everything up to a higher frequency. Inushko no horo yo no ahaye, hewa yanai yanai, yanai yanai yanai, hewa ye hey ya hey ya hey, hewa ye hey ya hey ya hey, isyo yo no araya ya yanai yasyata, hekoro yo 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 ya ye, isyo no. Isyono yoto, isyono tutu kubarono washiateya, ishtakaryana no stukoro, ishkatakabriaryana nasiata tateke. So let the sound of that light language just permeate that light, lifting, clearing. Lovely. Now we're going to almost scoop up that light as we bring the hands forwards and in towards our own heart space. Let the hands rest on the heart. And feel that connection to the divine, that particle of infinity within you. And be aware that everybody carries this particle of infinity within them. And when we recognize that in each other, we start to move towards community, understanding, support, love, kindness, and just a better society, a better vibrational frequency. So I want you to imagine that at the heart space there's a little curtain that's made out of like a silk gossamer, and you're just going to close it slightly so that it gives the heart space protection before we close the practice, but it also keeps the energy, the light moving in and out. So the light comes in and out, but there's a protection around it. And then if you feel that the crown of the head feels very fizzy and the third eye, imagine a door closing at each of the centres. So you can go down to the throat as well. At the heart space, we just use a curtain. And then again, if there's some activity further down, imagine maybe locking or closing a little door. It doesn't matter what it looks like, so just use your imagination. So you're just protecting your own energy field, but keeping the heart open so that we connect to each other. Bring the hands to the heart space. Breathe in and sweep the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, let the hands come down through the midline. And I honour the light that shines within you.